we're going to be talking about your works and selling your work to venues, to audiences and to the press. My background, I started as a performer myself, and I was producing for that work and for work of other companies. But I've also worked as a programmer in a small rural venue in England, and also up to large scale working at Wales Millennium Centre, working on community projects, on large scale programme performances in the main house. So I've got my experience base is across those different areas. What I'm going to be sharing with you is anecdotal and based on that experience. It's not hard fact or science, and I completely appreciate that there is going to be experience in the room. So when it comes to question and answers at the end, if you want to volunteer a different perspective on some of the things that I've been saying, I really welcome that. What I probably should have called it was building sustainable, nourishing, long-term relationships with arts managers and programmers, and all of those different things. But it wouldn't fit, so we haven't done that. But that is essentially what this is about. It is about establishing a long-term conversation with those people in buildings or representing different presenting opportunities. So, okay, let's move on a little bit. Hello, have you got a moment? Yeah, as I said, it is about conversations. I think it's unlikely that you will get a really spangly tour off the back of sending out a beautifully designed email to a number of presenters. It's really unlikely unless you've got a really well-established reputation and name for your work. So it's important to think about how you can represent yourself and your work in all the different ways of communicating with people from the beginning. So I have prepared this information making the assumption that you might be approaching someone for the first time. So there will be different opportunities where maybe you're coming in on this journey with people. You may, for example, have met Jill a few times before, but actually now it's time to send an email about something else, for example, or it could be the first time you've met Jill. So if we move on to being specific, this I think it's really important that you are not sending blanket emails to programmers. One of the things that used to really worry me, actually, as a programmer, is if you'd have an email that would say, "Dear programmer, I'm making this show that I think would be fantastic for Aberystwyth Arts Centre's spring programme when I'm working at Wales Millennium Centre," because it would make me feel that that person, whether it's a tour booker or an artist, doesn't really matter in this instance, but they haven't really thought about what that work is that they're making and why it's important to go to whichever venue they want to take it to. They don't really understand the differences between what Wales Millennium Centre is trying to do, what Aberystwyth Arts Centre is trying to do. So it really would set the alarm bells off, and I probably wouldn't read the rest of the email. So do your research and start to think about, why is it that organisation that I want to be approaching with this work in the first place? What is it about what Aberystwyth Arts Centre is trying to do that is unique and exciting and provides an opportunity for me and my work? And also, what is it about my work that is unique and exciting and provides an opportunity for Aberystwyth Arts Centre as well? So then when you can start to work out on that mutual understanding, you have a much better foundation to build those relationships and an understanding of what you're each trying to do. As I said, I'm an artist. What you want to get, the message you want to get across is I'm an artist doing interesting things. I'm interested in your venue and your programme, and that you think, I think we could work together in the future. So, if you don't know, you may not have a huge understanding of the different venues in Wales or in the UK or further afield. So, how can you find out about those? Well, it might be that one of the ways is that you look at artists who make a similar sort of work to yours, or you aspire to make work in a similar vein to them. So you can look at their website, you can look at their tour promotional material from previous tours, and see where it is that where they've been, kind of follow up on those sorts of ideas. You could also ask your peers or existing arts contacts that you have, and say, well, you know, where do you think my work could go? What programmers do you think I should be talking to about my work? I'd always say try and get direct contact details for those programmers as well. If you send it to info@, you know, the likelihood of it actually filtering through to their inbox is not so high as if you know that you've got the correct email address and their telephone number, and approach them directly. I think it's good to, when you're doing that, try to understand, and either by talking to them directly or other points of contact at that art centre, other than in a venue, how the programmer might be sitting down to look at your work, look at your information that you've sent through. Do they do it at particular points in the year? If they're programming for a festival that you're interested in, are they looking at that, you know, for maybe a week in the year and only during that week? And there's a sweet spot that you can time that email so it lands at the right time. Or if it's a more broad program that spreads across the year, are they sitting down at particular times, or even like a morning a week? They are. They are really busy in what they're doing at their venues. It's fair to say that most programmers in art centres in the UK are going to be at a pretty senior level. So as well as being responsible for a programme, they may also be responsible for finding all of the funding to make that season happen, or ensuring that the toilets are clean for the audiences that are arriving that night, or getting volunteers in place to make sure that the building's open for the performances that night. So, you know, the opportunities to sit down and look at work really aren't as many as we might like to think. So just being aware of that is helpful. Great, thanks. So, what else could you say in an email? If you haven't got a show that's ready to go, but you're trying to establish a long-term conversation, what else could you say to an email to get in an email to get that person interested in what you're doing? Well, you might want to invite them to a performance, or an R&D sharing, maybe a talk, scratch performance, so that you're starting to give them an idea, a sense of what it is that you're interested in, or the way that you've worked previously. I said invite to other arts-related event, so I mentioned the talk earlier, and then you might also have a website or a blog post that you want to invite attention towards. I've said a professional coffee, and beware afterwards. So I've been involved in a number of blunders. One that still haunts me is when I went to meet Ali Robertson at the tobacco factory in Bristol. And I'd been in Germany making a new show that was in a bunker. And there were two of us from this company of 4 people that went along. We were really buzzing. We'd literally just come back from Germany. And, really wanted to tell him about how it had all gone and the work. And I just hadn't thought that he might be interested in us presenting some of our work at some point in association with the tobacco factory. And I'd gone so down the route of, our work is really specific and it's unique and it can only live in this bunker that's, in Germany. And and the more I did that, and the kind of more sort of quizzical he looked, the more I realised I had just gone down completely the wrong road. And he actually said to me, so there's nothing we can do together right now. And I was like, it was, So I guess it takes us back to what I was saying before about meeting people in the bar, bumping into programmers at different events, and just being aware that any conversation could be an opportunity. Even a professional, it was quite a formal thing, and I still managed to completely screw it up. So always have a plan B ready to go. If you are inviting someone to any of these things, I would always say think about how you might want to receive the feedback as well. Personally, I prefer to give feedback after the event, as in days after the event. So I've had an opportunity to really think about the stuff that, the work that I've seen, and I want to give useful, helpful feedback. So if you're able to plan in an opportunity for feedback further down the line, then it's obviously another opportunity for you to put yourself across in everything that you're doing, rather than it being a snatched conversation in the bar. Okay, so that's all good, it's all going brilliantly, and you maybe do have a show now, something along those lines. What do you do? Well, the kind of basic information might be, what is it, what does it look like, and when are you taking it out, when are you looking to bring it to the venue. Other information might be all of these things, how many people are in it, what are you making, have you made it, as in, is it physically made and you're looking to tour it, or is it something that you're looking to make and you're looking to make it in that space, perhaps? Do you have marketing copy and images ready to go? Who do you think will be interested in experiencing the work? So what audience is it being made for? Where will it be staged? Is it for a theatre or is it for a bunker in Germany? How big is it? How many people on the road, that sort of thing. Are you in a position to actually make it happen, or are you still waiting for funding to be confirmed? That's often a real sticking point. What activity will you be involved in to help fill the venue? That kind of relates to the sort of financial deal that you might negotiate further down the line. We're not going to talk about those things today, there's not enough time. Where else are you planning to take the work, if anywhere? And what deal are you looking for, as I said, the financial deal. Thanks. So some of the reactions, the programming decisions are going to be based on lots of different factors. It's not just about how available, the dates that you're looking for, whether there's a gap in the diary, great. There still might be questions over some of these things, like the quality of the work. They may still feel like they need to see a bit more of your work before they feel that they can commit to it. Their personal taste or vision for their programme. Yeah, and wanting to, this is more of a programme that spreads across a year, achieve a balanced programme. So they may already feel like, actually I've got quite a lot of dance in my season at the moment that I'm already committed to. So this isn't actually going to work for me right now, but let's continue conversations for another time. A really depressing one might be, it's not for my audience. And I would say that's a really good kind of flag to say, rethink everything that you've done with that particular programmer. Go back and think about, is it the right venue, is it the right programme, is it the right piece of work for them? Or they might say, fantastic, let's talk more about this work. And then you can kind of move into conversations around the financial deal. As I said, we're not going to go into that today. Look at dates in more details and potentially opportunities for additional activity. That list is not exhaustive. There are other things there. But I'm going to stop now and we're going to move on to audiences. And we'll do questions at the end of these three.